Light me up, don't you stop, 'cause tonight it's on the line. Show me how you get on down. Close my eyes, take me for a ride.
Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would be good and stand out in the sun because it's come out a glorious day, but it is blinding me. Definitely not complaining. Another fabulous weekend for a spot of eventing. But before we get into today's video, I just wanted to firstly say a huge thank you to you guys for all your support, your lovely messages, lovely comments. They really have, each and every one of them has really made me smile. It's kept the smile going ever since last Sunday. It's now Saturday, but still absolutely beaming with Addie. She was so fab, and yeah, reading all your messages, all different in their own way, but still just make me really appreciate you guys, and taking the time to comment and to message really does mean a lot to me, so thank you guys. Today's video, I thought it's going to be 2 eventing vlogs, like, you know, bam, double whammy. 2 eventing vlogs, and I'm not really doing much today except for getting ready for eventing again tomorrow. We are heading to Launceston, and I thought I would show you what I pack for eventing. Now, it does feel weird. I feel like Addie's BE career has only just begun. Her season has only just begun, and after tomorrow it's going to be over. That it will be my last event of the season. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. No, it's just the way the calendar has worked out with British eventing. Launceston were very lucky to be able to get this second date. They had to unfortunately cancel their one that they had on earlier in the year. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of us have been very conscious of the ground this year. It's been so rock hard. It's been like tarmac with all the hot weather that we had, and people just weren't entering. And I completely understand why. I was the same. I didn't enter Launceston back before when they had their original date, because I didn't want to risk Addie's young legs. But the ground, like we all know, we've had a lot of rain now. It is much more soft, and I want to go up and support Launceston. And I am so pleased that they have been able to get this second date, because I know that British eventing venues have been struggling this year with lack of entries. I was really pleased to see when I went to look at what dressage test it was earlier in the week, and it said the entries from now on are going to be waitlisted, and I thought, oh, that's fantastic. So I'm really chuffed, especially for our most local venue, to be able to continue to still run, and that I am able to go up there and obviously support by running myself. It is only about an hour away, so it's a little bit closer, or quite a lot closer, than Pontypool last weekend. I've got very similar times. So plaiting, getting her all ready in the morning, I think will be the same as last week. I think I'm probably about half an hour earlier for my dressage than I was last week. But yes, today's video, I thought I would just show you, as I'm getting ready, the items that I use. I always attempt to do it on the day of eventing and talk through things that I use, but it just doesn't ever seem to happen, because you're in, I suppose, competition mode. You're thinking about what to do next, visualizing your dressage, your show jumping, your cross country, and then to talk through products and stuff as I'm using. I take my hats off to others that do it, like Tina, for example, but I am very much like focusing on what I've got coming up next when I'm at an event. So yeah, I just thought I would, and I kind of break up the eventing vlogs, if I'm honest. I've got to utilize that I'm going eventing again so soon, before it's all over. So yeah, thought I would. It's a lovely Saturday morning. I'm going to pack and get everything all packed up now. I can't load anything in cars today because I am actually borrowing my dad's car, and he is obviously using it this afternoon, so that will be something extra I have to do tomorrow morning. But if I've got everything all good to go, as you'll see what I use, if you've been here a while, you will probably already know what I use. But yeah, get that stuff out. Everything is thankfully pretty clean, because I gave it all a real deep, thorough clean last week. Whilst I pull everything out to sort of get started on packing, I'm going to go back to yesterday, where I headed down to Fred's for a little bit of a touch-up lesson with Addie. Was really beneficial. We just really working on actually the outside. So I've been working hard to try and get her to bend around my inside leg, but she's then almost falling out outwards, like when you're coming around a circle, not giving me really a true bend. So it was really interesting to really get hold of that outside and getting over some canter poles, being in control of that. And it's actually making me wonder now whether perhaps my turn into the double last week is the reason that we had the pole down. I think to do with the leg change as well and all of that. But it was really interesting, and getting her to be a little bit quicker off of my aids with the canter transitions that I've been working on for the past few weeks. They are getting better, but yeah, still need work. A whole lot needs work, but definitely heading in the right direction. So yeah. So whilst I pull everything out of my tack room, enjoy a few little snippets of our lesson yesterday.
Allow that neck to go down just by the base of her wither. That's where you want it to stretch a little more. It's all well and good having her up there, but it's not going to do much for the use of her back when it comes to your jumping. That's it, good. And loop. That's it. Nice and steady. Let her use her neck. Good. That's it. That's better. Letting the base of her neck relax. The base of the neck goes down, the back behind the saddle comes up. There you go. Good. Now you're just looking for that moment of balance within that frame. So you'll start to feel her take a bit more weight onto her hind leg in that frame. So it doesn't feel like she's running. So the little half holds and then the loop. Using the outside aids to push and turn. That's it. Good. That's where you start to get the hind leg to catch up to the bridle in those turns. It doesn't run. Make the horse supple and gently push her through the turn. Feel the hind leg having to do a bit of work. There. And that hind leg doing a bit of work should start to connect to your outside rein and give you the whole horse. Then go large with that feeling. Feel like you're pushing through the turn, inside leg to outside rein, and gently push the trot forwards. A little bit more. Allow the steps to go out, not up. Go large. Go large. Get very straight. Doesn't matter if you're not on the wall. And now I encourage the hind legs to go. Hind legs. Gently, too much.
I rushed her into that, didn't I?
Yeah. She's got to prick her ears and enjoy doing the forward bit. That's it. She's in front of the leg, which is good. Relax your heels down, keep your reins short. Get straight first. You don't want them to wobble. Now gently increase. There you go. Keep going. Yeah, good. And now just relax and let it come back. Poles. And walk after the second pole. Good. Well done. Long reins, let her stretch. Give her a pat.
Yeah.
Look for your first pole. Count the rhythm. Keep going. Shorten your reins. Your hands still and low with short contact. Look at the pole. Yes. Outside weight. Good. Look at your first pole, count your rhythm. Weight back and balance. Good. Outside leg on. Keep the weight down your outside leg as you go down the pole. Eyes up. Good. That's good. Good girl. Light seat. Give and retake your inside rein. Shorten your reins. Light seat. Out the saddle. Good. Now you're going to try and do a 10-meter circle here. Look to the outside as you do it. Yeah, beautiful. Good. Super. Now, look at your pole. Count your rhythm. Outside aids, like that. Bingo. Yeah. Weight down your outside and turn. Good. Yeah. See how balanced that was?
Yeah.
Perfect. And she arrived into that line dead straight. Good. Pat her. Now use your voice. Say walk, walk, and walk. Be sharp about it. Walk. Yeah, patter. Good. Excellent. That couldn't have been better, could it?
No.
There was a shot. You were surprised as what a perfect stride that was. But oh, it's right there in front of me. Patient. She can trot for a stride too. It's okay. But I don't want her to react badly to your aids. Good. Well done. Well done. Give her a pat. Good. Now you're going to try this 10-meter circle. Now look to the outside a little bit. And turn. Yeah, good, good. Feel up. Yeah, go on. Good. See how much ground she wants to lose? Yeah. A little bit more counter flexion. Bring that outside rein across a bit and pick. Yeah, that's it. Go on. Yeah, yeah. Go on. Yeah. And walk. And walk. Now shorten your reins a little bit, like seat. Good. 10-meter circle. Outside edge. Look out. There you go. Good. Good. Now to your pulse. Now, not your rhythm. Outside leg, outside edge. There you go. Good. There you go. Good. That was okay. It was just deep and you fit it down with it. Good. Drop. Canter. No, flat. She canters. You don't canter. You just put an aid on and sit still. That's better. 10-meter circle. Outside leg, outside edge. Good. That's it.
Sorry.
Again, small, and then a big 20-meter circle now, and then down your poles. Remember, in those tight turns in the apex, you have to have the feeling of pushing, not pulling. Look, count, push. There you are. Good. Bingo. And walk.
Right, so the first thing is first. Yes, Nala, you've been in this a few times, haven't you? Is the big hairy pony bag. It is absolutely fantastic. I've had this probably a good 3, maybe even 4 years, and it is always my go-to. It's like the Mary Poppins bag. I think I've said that before. You just seem to be able to cram so much in it, and it's brilliant. It's got like side pockets on it, double straps. Be warned, it does get quite heavy because of the amount of stuff that you're able to put in it. I did have to use a wheelbarrow to take this up, but this can go in my trailer once it's full. I put it in my trailer. It's waterproof. It's got a nice, good, hard zip on it, and double handles to. It's much lighter than what it's going to be. But first thing to put in there for me is my stud box. So I've just got a little box like this that I actually need to replace because look, that's the end of it. But the studs that I wear in Addie, so at the moment she has only got one hole in each hoof. I don't know if that's because of her being younger. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I know that there is a huge debate with studs and whether there should be 2 or 1, but 1 is working for us. And yeah, I've always had 2 when it was in Lola. Sprite never used to wear studs, she didn't like them. She used to go really cagey. Funny, I remember putting them in and actually, yeah, she hated them. She went so like sticky with them. So she never used to wear them, but Lola always had 2. So in the back, I wear little bigger ones. I don't know if that's focusing on my hand or not. So they're like bigger ones. I think they're the medium conical. And then these are like little, I call them dressage studs basically, but they go in the front. So the holes are located on the outside of each hoof. Metal tray, fantastic to just have around. I have got other studs in my box if I were to ever need them, but as you can probably tell how that looks, it's fairly new and never been used. I've got my spanners, so that one there does the smaller, and this one does the bigger ones in the back hoof. They go in there. So it's already set up, my little tray there. If you ever wonder how to pick out studs, I know some people use like a nail from the hoof, but one of these little pickers, not an ad, just they are fantastic. They really get in and they almost crunch up the stones. So I can highly recommend. And then your stud tap if you should need it, but she has been wearing studs a fair bit recently, so I don't know if I'll need to thread them again or not. And then I have got in here our cross-country tape. So obviously my cross-country colours with Addie is pink with grey on white stars. So I have got pink and grey, which match perfectly. So that can go in first. So I've also pulled out my dressage saddle and jump saddle now. I'm obviously going to be riding in this later, so I can't really touch much about that at the moment, but as you all know, I ride in the Albion K3, which I absolutely love. There are changes coming, which I am very, very excited about, but I won't give too much of that away. And then my dressage saddle is the K2 Legend. As you all know, I have been testing out. I have been up to Exeter testing out some new dressage saddles. So that is still a work in progress at the moment. But I have got some free jump S stirrups on there, which is fairly new to me, and if you notice, they've got a bit of navy in there, which is obviously matchy with my jacket. And these come in different, so you can get different inclines on the tread. They have got a little bit of a downhill, which just helps to keep the heels down. That's something that I need to work on. And also, I want to call it the eyelet. The eye of the stirrup can be at an angle or straight. Now, I went for straight because I'm actually quite bad for my toes sticking outwards, but by having it straight, it helps you to keep them as straight as possible. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to full on correct it, but it helps. Everything helps, and I have noticed I have really liked seeing my leg position, foot position in them when I've watched back any of my dressage, so definitely helped me with that. And then once I've got the new dressage saddle, which has a knee block, I think, yeah, the picture is going to look eek. And obviously the picture is then going to be helping both Addy and myself in the dressage phase, so that just needs to have a little wipe over, which I'll do in a minute. I took these home last night to give a wash, so they are pretty wet, but I have got some other numbers in here which I thought I might take in case they don't dry, so I'll pack them in and might pack them later. But yeah, right, carry on with what's on the floor, so I would change it up, move around a little bit. Next into the hairy pony bag are my Champion hat bags. So these protect and keep my hats not only from being, I want to say dropped, because no, because obviously I am super careful, but they're padded, so yes, they are protected against any knocks or bumps, but also by being in a bag like this, it protects it from the sunlight, and the sunlight can actually affect the important materials inside to help keep your head protected. So I've got my cross-country hat, still got my cross-country colours. A lot of people ask me where my cross-country colours were from, and they are by Super Cross Country. Now, Spritey had pink ones, and Lola had the red ones with the white stars, but I wanted to go back to Spritey's colours. I thought the pink really suited Addy. Mum disagrees and thinks that red would have looked better on her, but I like the pink, and I wanted to change it a little bit but still keep it in keeping with Spritey, hence the reason that there is grey stars on there, which then matches my body protector. So that's on there already, and I've also got some gloves in there as well, and I've got some ears in there, other hat silks, just spares basically in case I need them. So zip that up. I've just caught my pom-pom. I just got my pom-pom in the sit. What did I say about being careful? There we go, right. So that's one hat in. Then on to the second hat, and you will, if you have seen Pontispool vlog, you will know about the new hat to go with the new jacket. So this is the Revolve Vent Air with the latest MITS technology, keeping your head as safe as possible. So that can be in there. I've also got other gloves in here as well in case I need them. I don't know, perhaps if it rains through dressage or show jumping or something and I want to change. But yeah, that's in there. So that is both of my hats. Now I have just pulled these out, so this is kind of skipping on. So that's kind of before I get out and get going. But I also, for when, right at the end of the day, is I take my ice packs with me. Prevention rather than cure. These are the Woofwear ice boots. There is actually a newer model out now that are more sort of fitted around the fetlock. You've probably seen them on Tina's channel, but I think they get sold out very, very quickly. So I've got the gel packs that will come with me in the morning in my little ice bag, and then the gel packs just go in there. So there's 8 gel packs, 2 on each leg, and then that just wraps around, and you leave them on for, so as you wash them off, and then I pop them on just while she's like walking around having a bit of a hand grace. For say 10, possibly 15 minutes, but probably more about 10 minutes, just as a little bit of help there, just to make sure that her legs, if she has knocked anything, that there's ice going straight on there. So they're in there. Also wear 5-point breastplate. This was actually Lola's, is a little bit big, but I have punched some extra holes in the bottom for Addie, but that is for our jumping. So that goes into this bag as well. Next to go in is my body protector, so I'm sure that you are all aware. Oh, it's matching with my my riding tights, but I wear the Champion. Would help if I got my hair out of the way. Champion TI22. Now I have ridden in one of these body protectors for 6 years, 7 years, very long time, and I absolutely love them. I used to be a real hater of body protectors because I found them so restrictive and uncomfortable, but then I was, yeah, you can probably see, I can see the air, so the air goes through the little segments that are in it, and it literally molds to your body, and that's what makes it so comfortable. You can see that, see the flex in it, but all these segments is what is going to protect you, and they are breathable, and yeah, changed my views on body protectors. Don't mind wearing that one at all, and quite often you'll have it on and you'll forget that you are. I know Tina has gone to go home before from the beach and got in the car to drive off and has still had it, and I'll quite often finish cross country and still be wearing it, and I've sorted everything out with Addie and I realise that I've still got it on. It's that comfortable that you just don't realise. So some of you had very beadly little eyes, so I had some matching, I've got this camera at a really wrong angle, matching pink free jumps to go with my cross country colours, so absolutely love them. I've ridden again in these for years. I just like the safety aspect of it, and it was something that I had with Lola as when she was younger. I was really worried about getting a foot caught in the stirrups and anything happening. So yeah, I then got a pair of these. That worry then was taken straight out of my head, and it has been something that I've thought of a couple of times with Addie, again being young, and just those freak accidents. So if I was to fall off and my foot was trapped, this arm snaps under a certain amount of weight. I'm not 100% sure what the weight is, I apologise. But yeah, it would snap away, releasing my foot and preventing me from being dreadedly dragged. So yeah, they are going into the hairy pony bag. Something also for me for eventing is making sure that I have got camera batteries charged up. I've just had to change the battery in here now, and it just made me, that is something else that I always have to make sure, is that all batteries are charged, SD cards are clear, but of course I'm doing this, then I will format it and it will be good to go for tomorrow morning. And it just reminded me to pick up my whip, so I've got that one there for obviously cross country, that goes in the hairy pony bag, and this one is a bit long so won't fit, but this is my schooling whip for the dressage warm up. Obviously you are not allowed to carry a whip whilst doing your test, but you are allowed to warm up with one. And to be honest, I gave it to Chris before I'd even finished my warm up. It was just in case she wasn't very responsive to my aids, and just needed that little bit of help for myself, but no, she was a super girl last week, as she's going to be this week. And then it moves on to what I call my pink box. Quite simply, my pink box. That's another box that goes, and that's got like little smaller bits, but we shall dive into that in a second, because I have just thought I would mention. So I have the tendon fetlock boots from Woofwear. She hasn't been wearing back boots because she wasn't overly keen when I put them on her originally, like quite a while ago. So I have just been wearing front boots, but yesterday in the lesson you will notice that I put these on. I thought I'd just trial them, just see what she's like, and she wasn't fazed by them at all. They have been home and been washed, as well as the numbness that I mentioned, so they are just out at the moment drying. And then I've got the iVent boots for the cross country. Sprite used to always wear white cross-country boots, and it was when I saw Sophie Hall the other day, she had them on, and it looked really smart on like your dark legs, black legs. I thought, do you know what, it does look good. So that is the reason that I've got them. I have got cross-country boots, but the back ones are too big for Addie, because obviously they were Lola's before, so I wore them last week, and then the tape really stands out on them, and of course because I'm not wearing back boots either, so I wore them last week, which I'm going to wear again this week. Because I did really quite like having the white contrast on her black legs. But they're drying, so I can't put them in yet, but they will stay next to the hairy pony bag, and I can put them in later once they are dry. They're not feeling too bad. They dry really quickly, thankfully. So the pink box looks like that. Probably could do with another new one because it is a bit cracked, but it still works. It's absolutely fine. But this is where I keep all the smaller bits. I used to keep like my gloves in here, but they tend to just now stay in my hat bag. And also things that I want to keep clean. Now, admittedly, I'm now thinking I should have taken this home to wash, because look at the state of that. So that will be coming home to wash with me. I wasn't going to, but I've just noticed that the sleeve is a bit dirty. So yes, that can come home and be washed. Number bib, something I will go in and do in a second, is print my number out so that I've got it in ready, because although my helpers are very good, and this is something that I can say, oh, can you do that for me? But take them out, they can be recycled. So number bib, things like that basically. I've got a clean jumping number in there already, and I've got a white one. Let's get that now. Nana's not going to keep it clean in a second though, is she? So I've got a clean one there, just in case those two don't dry. At least I know that I've got them. My top, is it really bad that I haven't washed this? Because I went to wash it with my jumpers this morning and I realised that I didn't have it at home, but that is all clean and is underneath. Lovely. So that is so you're not as well, just in case you're not sure, you're not allowed to actually wear sleeveless. Like, so if the judge allows you to have jacket off or show jumping it's warm, you don't have to ride in your jacket. But I wouldn't be allowed to ride in that because it is sleeveless. You need to have some sort of sleeve, even if it's just a short one, you have to have some sort of sleeve. But even when it is boiling hot, I will always wear my jacket because I prefer the picture of it basically when I watch it back and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I might be absolutely sweating. I'm not in my new jacket, which also needs to go in the bag. But yeah, I just prefer the picture for me personally. Completely personal preference, but that is the reason that I do wear a sleeveless top underneath, because I know that I will always wear my jacket. That's in there. I have got spare jobbers in here as well, just in case something was to happen. My stopwatch, which is still on 5:59, which was nowhere near my time, so I mustn't have stopped it straight away. That is good to go. Yeah, it felt weird using the stopwatch again last week. Not that I thought that we were going to be anywhere near the time, but we ended up, yeah, being the time. And I also realised, somebody messaged me, or a few people messaged me again, you didn't mention your placing in your eventing vlog. And we actually came 8th. I don't know why I didn't mention it. Yeah, really chuffed. Can't believe that we came top 10. And I really have no idea why I didn't mention it. But yes, we did get placed last weekend. Stock is in there. So I gave this a wash before last weekend. So it is still nice and clean. And then with the stock with the stock goes the stock pin. So that is in there like that. I have got some ears in here if I was to need it. I've got some lovely navy ones. But Addie's not used to wearing ears, so I haven't worn them. But I do quite like them and think how smart it would look that they would match my jacket as well. And yeah, just other little bits in here in case I needed it. I've got spurs, but I don't wear spurs. There is some extra tape in here as well. I've also got this little board here, which when there is 2 of us on, I haven't really used it when I suppose I haven't been eventing, but I could write times on here that I then hang up around the trailer, so that then, you know, how many times do you say in a day, oh, what time's your show jumping? What time's your cross country? What time is your dressage again? That I found just writing it on a board and then just go, people, this is it, and it's around, and then people all know to look at this. And I also like the fact that it says smile, so when you sort of look at it, or I look at it, it reminds me to smile, relax, have fun. Right, will that fit in there? Oh, it does, it does. Put them in there, number bib there can go on top. That top's coming home with me. Also remember to pop my jacket in, but something I noticed when I was editing the last vlog is at the back there are little strands to make the pleats stand out that I never cut off. So I was like, I'll do this now because otherwise I'll probably end up forgetting. You know this, like the little strand. There we go, like that. Some people don't, I suppose. Again, that is personal probably preference. Personal probably preference. Oh, that was a mouthful to say. I love the bag that this comes in as well. It's so smart. Like that. And then we've got little poppers. And that too. Get a Harry Potter bag. Something that I pop in the side here is the NAF Ice Cool It Gel. So after I take off her ice boots and before we're travelling home, I just pop that over her legs, around her tendons and stuff, just to keep them cool whilst getting home. Now I'm just going to get a little bit of water, because the next thing for me is to clean up my riding boots. Now these are not going to be used later, like my jump saddle and bridle, but I can get them, oh, I was not in the camera, I can get them cleaned up and popped into, yeah, into the hairy pony bag as well. And would you believe it's still not full? Squeaky clean. And didn't actually take that long. They've only been used a couple of times since obviously being cleaned and all ready for last week, so it is making things a lot easier. But I just love how everything that you get nowadays comes in their own little bag. So I wear the Mountain Horse Sauvignon boots. These were a Christmas present from my mummy a few years ago. Absolutely loved them, but I always keep them in like the blow up things inside them to keep them nice and straight so they don't collapse too much, and then also always keep them in the bag that they come with so I can pop them back in there and then put them into the hairy pony bag. Addy stuff, I think we are pretty much there. Just gonna leave my cleaning stuff out because I obviously have got to wipe over both saddles and my bridle when I've finished riding. I thought I may as well do both saddles at the same time. But just to talk through what I use, so this is the luxury leather soap from Albion. I go over that first. That's really good at getting out all the grease and the grime from everything in the leather, and then I go over with the leather balm, and honestly I wish I could put smell into video because this smells absolutely amazing. So I'll leave that out there. We'll come back to this bag in a second. I'm just getting a little bit prepared for later when it is time to, well, later today and tomorrow morning. Things are drying, things are packed, saddles are out ready, but I thought I'd just mention, I should have cleaned this after my lesson yesterday, but I didn't, so apologies. But this is relatively new to Addy. We've been in it a few weeks now, and this is the Expert Bits Comfy Barrel Egg Butt, so fully dressage legal. I was just finding that Addy was getting very chompy in the mouth and yeah, not really liking the bit that she was in, but changed her to that and she is so much better, so much softer. And I mean, from what you would have seen from the lesson yesterday and from our dressage last week, she is so much more comfortable now in her mouth. Really liking that at the moment. I am looking, so at the moment she's in a crank nose band, and I'll be honest that it's never done up like stupidly tight or anything like that, and I know there are again opinions about crank nose bands, but I don't crank it right up. It's more for the look of it that I always liked it. Always had Sprite in one, but I am looking at getting a dropped nose band again, just to try and encourage her to relax the jaw. Been doing quite a bit of research on it, so I'm hoping to get one of them. Couldn't get one this week, but I'm looking, yeah, that's the next thing on my shopping list to get. But yeah, I think we are good. Oh, I was going to talk you through. So getting prepared for later. Obviously, Addy is going to be bathed, shampooed, put conditioner in a tail because she has got the thickest tail ever. But everything actually is here ready. So I've got my shampoo here ready. I've got one of these brushes, which again is quite new to me, but I love it. And I even love it more when you're washing them off after they've got all sweaty, because the brushes really do get into the coat, which I love. So that is fabulous. I then have like an old, not out here, so that's what I need to get prepared. I've got a scraper there, I've got my jug there. Haven't got the luxury of Tina's shower this week, but I have like a little plastic curry comb, which, oh, there's something in the bottom of that and I don't like the feel of it. Basically something along those kind of lines, and that just, I use one of those to work into it. I've got a rubber one, which is, oh, it's right on top. put that back. It's right on top because of where I've used it last, because I gave Sprite a bath during this week. But it's like rubber. This is actually my mum, so it's probably about 30 years old. But I just find that one of those, especially for me, that I haven't got the pressure of the water, but this gets really in deep to their coat. So all of that is there, good to go for her bath later. And this is then my grooming kit that I take with me. I used to pack it all, if you can see that purple box, and take this, but I found that actually I can fit everything I want to into here. So let's sit down and show you what's in this bag. I've just sat on a hoof pick. This bag is the bag of compartments. You have got, ooh, 2 compartments there. I wonder if I'm dropping everything out of it. So scissors are in there. They've got like little keepers for that. So they go in there. You've got little attachments here that go for the main cones or anything that you kind of, anything that would fit in that basically. Just keep it there. I think there's also, yeah, in there, you can then Velcro that down. You've got more compartments there. Another zip pocket here, which I don't think I've got anything in. There's actually too many compartments that I haven't been able to fully utilise them all. I don't know what else I could put in there, if I'm honest. But it's got the same again on the other side. So this again is by Hairy Pony, same material as the big bag and fully waterproof. And then inside, it looks an absolute mess from last week. So I have a cloth, always like to have a cloth, one to wipe your hands, to wipe their face, and that is what I tend to use with, if I can get to it. Oh no. This is why I should not put this in here. It's okay, it hasn't gone on anything that it shouldn't have gone on. Oh no. That, so I use black hoof paint, which is, I'm going to admit, absolutely lethal if you get it on your hands and stuff. I think baby oil gets it off. But it is kind of exploded. Right, so I'm going to use this cloth now, because it is a bit dirty anyway, to wipe everything off. That's not ideal for white thread, is it? Take 2. I have just lined it with another cloth just in case there is anything at the bottom, but I don't think I have. I'm holding this really tentatively, but I have wiped it off. So hoof pick is in there. Tina picked me up last week whilst we were at Pontypool, which again has got, I'm gonna have to use this cloth for this now. Which has got some black patting bands because I think I'd used them all, or I don't know what happened to the remaining of them. But it's like a little patting actual kit. It's got white thread in there actually, and I'm going to keep it in that plastic bag so that it doesn't get anything on it. So that's in there. Then I got a main comb, which I suppose I could be putting into those little compartments, but I tend to just put it in. This is used for after you take plaits out and then you just need to go down through. I've got a plastic curry comb, and then I've got a couple of the Has brushes. I have the coat gloss, so I've got the full set of these, but I use them before I go, and then I just have the, I think this is the last one in the series that you're supposed to use the coat gloss, and that just gives her, gets like the dust when she's just stood by the trailer and people driving past, or been in the trailer travelling. It just gets rid of all that dust that's just sat at the top of her coat. Very, very fortunate that the black hoof paint did not get onto those. So I basically have like this little tube, but for some reason it is annoying me that the top lid just doesn't want to stay on for some reason. So my needles then end up, I always leave the one out that's got thread on it, and that's like in a little compartment in there, but I've got a couple of other needles here. And it's got a little stopper, and I'd love to say that the stopper stays on them, but for some reason it seems to put, oh, I have got a crack in it. That's probably why the stopper isn't staying on. But that's in there, and they're in a little compartment so they don't sort of get lost. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. It might just be the top outer layer, and maybe it's not gone down through, so I'll pop that back in there as well. Then for quarter markers, I have recently been using the Smart Grooming quarter marking gel. So you dampen the bum all over, and then I put this on my hands, a bit like I've seen like Chris do when he gels his hair. Rub it into my hands, and then I rub it all over their bottom. I really like this stuff. I've always struggled to know exactly what sort of products, but yeah, still using this at the moment, liking it a lot. I found that I got it quite well last weekend, but I don't think I spread out the gel evenly enough, so that's something I need to work on this. I just haven't had enough practice, that's the reason why, and between times of doing it, it's been like months, weeks. So that's in there, and then I have got the Renwick and Sons. Just checking there's no black on that. A little bit on the handle, but no, we are good. Quarter marking brush, but I think last time I actually used this one, so yeah, we'll see how, yeah, it's whatever my fancy takes really. So that's in there. So then to make the lines that I do on the top of the bottom, like I do the 3 lines down, I use this. So you can then be like really fancy and make like little slits into them, but I just tend to use the middle one, zoop, 3 times down, and that's that done. And then for plaiting tomorrow morning, my best friend, so it's a comb on one side which divides the mane up, sorry about the cows moving in the background, to divide the mane up, and then the other side is the clip that then holds the rest of the mane back. It just saves me time having to not go down bunching it, then go down plaiting it, because I can just do it with that. So I've got the taming wax that I use. I put that into the little sections. After I've sectioned it, I then put in the wax and then plait it down, and it just keeps all the little wispy bits down and also helps to keep them nice and tight. So they are in there, they'll be used in the morning. And then a personal favourite of mine is the NAF Razzle Dazzle. I like putting this on. So I've also got the Oil It Well, but that's up in the trailer, I believe. I think I saw it up there yesterday, which is usually in this bag. But that's what I tend to put over the nose, the eyelids, just to give them like a little bit of a darken effect, and also her black points on her legs. So I always go down over her hocks and down her shins just to make her black points basically really stand out and yeah, look nice, deep, dark. And I also find Razzle Dazzle, just popping that over the top really helps too, as well as putting it down, almost using it a little bit like hairspray. I don't need the hairspray, but I think it just gives it that darkened look on the plaits. So Addie's mane is obviously black, her tail's black, so I plait her tail as well. So I just then spray it all over with the Razzle Dazzle, which I do. I've always liked. I've liked it for years. I'm not going to pop the black hoof oil straight back in there. I am covered too. Yeah. Anyhow, never mind. So that is all geared up and ready to go for tomorrow. I've just noticed that was hiding away from me, which did unfortunately get absolutely covered. Something that I do not know why I didn't have this sooner in my life, considering I have always threaded my plaits, is a thread picker. So I picked this, again, this is Smart Grooming, and it is fantastic, so much so that I can now give this to Chris, and it's like sort of his, I want to say his job, but when I'm getting ready for cross country, visualising my course, I know that I can just give this to Chris, and it's so much easier than using scissors to get the plaits out, and it really does make it, it's a game changer, and I do not know why I have not had one of these sooner, but absolutely love that. And I've also just picked up a fresh cloth. Thankfully, my mum gives me all her old tea towels, so I have got a drawer full of them. Literally I've got a drawer full of them. So I just take that, and again I just use that to wipe Addie's face down, give my boots a little wipe off, anything that you just can't go wrong with a cloth basically. So those two are also going into the hairy pony bag. Perfecto, everything is all done. I'm absolutely covered in that black stuff, but yeah, all done. I'm feeling good. I always think that if you are prepared and organized before an event, it really helps. Not doing things in a flap, in a rush. And yeah, I'm excited to go and do it all again. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I apologize, it has been a very blabby one, but might just give you, in case you're looking for any new stirrups or new leather cleaner, anything like that, but just a little talk about what I use and why I use it, when I use it. But I am all prepared later to ride, bath Addie when she comes in. She can then have her dinner. I will then put her out. So this has become like almost my show rug the last couple of weeks. It is nice and clean, only goes on her when she is clean, and then that keeps her obviously cleaner for tomorrow morning because they will be out overnight. I feel like it's a very long day, so it's nice for them, or nice for Addie, to stay out overnight beforehand, unless it was a ridiculously early start, then I would have her plaited lycra hood on and more than likely staying in. But no, she can go out, enjoy her night out. Got to sort of make the most of it that they can still be out at the moment. They did come in for a couple of weeks when the weather really did turn, and now they have been out overnight. I've been rugging up to try and prevent her from getting fluffy and not needing clipping before these 2 weekends. But I know Sprite is like a woolly mammoth. She will be being clipped next weekend. Wish us luck for tomorrow, guys. I'm gonna get home, just do the last little bits, obviously wash my top, get my jodhpurs, print my number. I always want to say number, print my number, but it's not that, it's print my number. There's always last little bits like that need to be done, but I am well ahead today, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this vlog. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and look out for another eventing vlog coming to a screen near you soon. But until then, I hope you guys are all good, and yeah, see you back for another eventing vlog very, very soon. Take care. Bye.